Hello and welcome to DCG's development update. We are here with the core, the platform, and the mobile teams to give you an update of the past 2 weeks. We will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end, so please feel free to ask any questions and use a Q or question prefix so we will know that it is intended to the Q&A session at the end. Without further ado, let's start with Sam and the platform team.
Sure. So the focus was on three things, basically. Right now, I'm not so much doing things in the platform right now. I'm mostly on iOS, but Lukasz and Paul are still on platform. And so, Paul and Lukasz were working on Dash Evo tool improvements. We found some interesting issue in DAPI. For people not aware, DAPI is very, very small at this point. We rewrote most of the components into Rust, and then there was a little bit of a DAPI component still in JavaScript. So, we're working on fixing that and potentially moving it over to Rust. And also, there was some work on the WASM JS SDK. Okay, let's go in.
Hi. So on my side, I did quite a few improvements in terms of Dash Evo tool, into how the UI works. The biggest thing we merged is how we display and process amounts. When you create a token, for example, and you want to have 3 decimal places, you need to provide some value with decimal places. We need to process that. Internal representation is just an integer, so it doesn't support decimal places. So basically, we created some abstraction on top of that, and a widget that is just doing the amounts and number and like values like that correctly with validation, with everything. And it's another part of this effort is the funding, where we have some, let's call it, bugs in the flow when you top up your identity or when you create new identity. There are some glitches, so it's still in progress. But the goal here is to review that code, also make it more generic and fix that flow. And yeah, another thing I already mentioned, because that's also about the amounts and the decimals in terms of the token forecast and token pricing fields. Wherever we display price or display token value, we use that new component. And last thing is just to unify how we display some confirmation dialogues, so that we can just, the high level goal is to just have one well-designed and well-tested component that we can use everywhere when we need that. So if we need a confirmation dialog, we want it to always look the same, always have OK button on the right, for example, and stuff like that. So that's it. And this is all like usability improvements. Also, there are a few other things like claiming tokens that are distributed. Right now, it's somewhat non-intuitive because the claim in some scenarios only claims part of what the user should get. Not getting into details, we want to fix that. And some maintenance work like automatic testing of the application. So we had a few unit tests, but they were not run with every PR. Right now, everyone will see if they broke the tests, because tests are run when they contribute a PR. Also, some database read issue and logging. So the logging was how we spotted that, because every I think 20 times a second we were logging that we are reading configuration from database. and that's fixed right now. We only read when it's needed. And yeah, and there is some bug on the price group action when you try to change the price for a token. You cannot actually do that because the button is inactive, so the fix is in review. So that's it in terms of Dash Evo tool. And in terms of platform, as Sam already mentioned, I'm working on DAPI. The goal is to cover everything in Rust to be able to maintain it easier with a smaller team. And DAPI is quite small, so it's not a big deal to rewrite it. So I'm in progress right now there. Let's say in the middle of this work, more or less. And I'm off for the next few weeks. So after when I will be back, I should finalize that. So the main reason why we started this work is that sometimes when you send a transaction, we are not getting notifications about their progress. So we are not notified that it was executed, despite subscribing to that information in current DAPI. And we don't have, and we don't want to maintain that DAPI in JavaScript. It doesn't make sense to just learn that, and we don't want to focus on JavaScript and Node.js code right now. We want to focus on Rust. So the whole team is Rust developers. That's why we decided to do that. I think that's it on my side. Paul?
Thank you. Yeah, I've been working on the Dash SPV library, basically trying to get the SPV client to work in Dash Evo tool. And so actually most of my work has been in Dash SPV. Like in Dash Evo tool, most of the work has just been making the UI, which is just not much work. But also testing like sync. So yeah, I mean, what we have right now is you can sync basically headers from Genesis or checkpoints um, to the chain tip and download masternode lists, and then use those masternode lists to do queries and state transitions that don't require. You can do queries and state transitions that don't require core transactions. That's kind of the next thing that I'm going to be working on. I think that a lot of the functionality is there already, because Pasta did work there already. I'm pretty sure, it seems like, but I haven't tested it personally. So yeah. But I had to do some refactoring in order to get things working in Dash Evo tool, because for the SPV client, like there's multiple things going on at once. Besides just syncing headers and blocks, we want to like be able to track progress at the same time, and while we're trying to stay synced, we want to be able to do queries and state transitions and stuff. And there were some issues around like deadlocks and stuff, basically. So if you tried to do a query, like you couldn't access the client because some other process was using it at that time, and it was just basically not working well for like when you were trying to do multiple things with it at once. So I refactored it a bit to use like to basically improve that stuff. I added a component called the sync engine and sync state. Yeah. Uh, and various other improvements like made header storage atomic and batched so that couldn't get interrupted. And yeah, what else? Oh yeah, so I mean, the past, like yesterday and today, I got checkpoint sync working. So like before yesterday and today, I've been syncing from Genesis every time. So yeah, checkpoint sync is working. Yeah, and improved phase transitions and management. It's just a small thing, like phase transition from downloading headers to downloading master node lists and stuff like that. There were some issues where we weren't transitioning correctly sometimes. Could you go to the next slide, please, Balash? Thank you. So I kind of said this all already. In Dash Evo tool, we have syncing headers is working stable, master node list stable, and once you have those, basically in Dash Evo tool, you can do queries and transitions without that don't need core transactions. So document create and queries, contract create, but you can't do stuff that require asset locks yet, like identity create. Yeah, and we have progress indicators in the UI. And the next thing that basically I'm going to be working on is syncing, like syncing blocks and being aware of like your loaded wallet so that you can be aware of what asset locks are associated to you and what identities are associated to you and stuff. And then you can do these other state transitions like identity create and stuff. Yeah, and this will be an awesome thing to have because SPV makes it so much easier for new users to onboard into Dash Evo tool. And yeah, I mean, in every app, I know that Sam is planning on bringing it into iOS and stuff, and so yeah, it's a great thing for us. Thank you.
Well, I mean, iOS already was an SPV wallet, right? I'm just creating a new system based off of Rust because the old code is very old. But I'm going to get back into that in a while. Let's start. Let me right now talk about the WASM and the JS SDK. So for me, maybe half of the 2 weeks was spent on WASM JS SDK, and half of it was on iOS. So these are the things I did in WASM JS SDK. I'm just going to show them to you guys because that will be much easier and more fun. Yes. Wait, can I share? Oh, there we go. Does this work? Do you guys
Yes.
see that?
Yep.
What do you
see?
Yeah, so basically, before there were queries, state transitions, and wallets. Before basically state transitions, we had all the state transitions except identity create and identity top up. Now we have identity create and identity top up as well. You need to put in an asset lock proof though. Basically, you need to enter an asset lock proof and you need to add the asset lock proof key. But this does basically show that once you have those parts, the identity create does work based off WASM and JS SDK. Now, how can you get an asset lock proof? I made a pull request into Dash Evo tool to create asset lock proofs. So if you go to the wallet section, asset lock proof, and then you go to there should be a button, create asset lock, and then you can basically create an asset lock there and then use that asset lock, put it in here, and then create an identity. I don't want to go too far in depth because I prefer showing off iOS. There's going to be another demo later. But I just wanted to let people know that this has been done. So in Wallet, we also have like key generation stuff. So like generate seed. Let's generate a seed with 18 words in French. There we go. this is a seed that you can use. There's all these different things that you can do, like multiple key pairs, key pair from with, public key to address, like all these different things there. Key derivation is a little bit more interesting. So you could do like an entered path. So I don't know if it works in French though. Anyways, no, let's just do generate test seed. So then we can just put in a path. The path actually, I do believe works with dash pay paths. So this is a dash pay path that allows for 256-bit paths inside. And yeah, it does work. So this is what a dash pay path looks in the system. Like it's identity ID here to identity ID here, and then a count 0 on them. And then it basically gives you the private keys based off of this seed phrase. So, this is pretty much a show that this exists in the JavaScript SDK. You can also do dash pay contact keys. It should be contract or contact. I think there might be a typo. But you can put in the sender identity ID, receiver identity ID for that. We also have DIP13 identity keys, which are basically authentication keys, registration keys, top of funding, invitation funding. So these are the things around the asset locks that are, you can use this for asset locks key creation like that. You always will have the key based off of your seed phrase if you ever want to reuse the key. You don't have to like manage it as easy as hard. Okay, so that's basically it on the WASM JavaScript section. I'll come back to you guys for iOS later.
All right, sounds good. So we'll get continuing here. So on the core side of things, we're still making progress on extended addresses. 6666 is what is in progress right now, and we're working on getting that merged in the next week or so. It's the next major PR in the extended addresses series. We're also working on optimizing the X11 hashing to use AES NI CPU instructions. This is something that Kitty Whiskers basically just kind of did, kind of as like a side project, as something, um, just something that he was a little interested in and wanted to see if he could make it work. And it looks like there are um, significant performance improvements by using these native instructions for a couple of the stages of the X11 hashing. A couple of the, right, X11 is a chain of 11 different hashing algorithms. A couple of them are able to use the AES instructions to get performance improvements, and a couple of them cannot. So we're kind of chaining some that can use the optimization, some that can't, and overall, it appeared that we were seeing a significant net improvement in the end, but we're still doing some benchmarking and testing there to see if it will turn out to be valuable. But it's kind of interesting stuff, and it looks like it will. Continued on the automated agentic backporting stuff. So right now we've merged in 152 PRs from that. I believe that's 52 more than a couple of weeks ago. And right now there are 500 of them that are awaiting human review that have been approved by, the automated review system. So we have to go through and review some of those, and we are working diligently to get as many of those merged in as we can without spending all day on it. So, and then Constantine is working on some more indexing optimizations to get re-indexing and indexing to be more performant. Um, yeah, those are the main things I wanted to talk about on current core development. Moving on to the next slide here, you can see the backport status progress, and I think solid progress in the last week on V24, but this is what it looks like right now. And we can move on to the next slide, and you can see the PRs merged in the last 2 weeks. So a couple of sets of backports that Kitty Whiskers did. I think that was 3 sets of backports that he did. as well as 3 or 4 automated backports. Some improvements to the CI build system for the automated backport system to be a little bit more CI efficient, and a couple of fixes and some other backports. And yeah, all right. I think that is a wrap on what Core wanted to talk about, and we can move on to Brian.
Sure. Thank you for that. So mine will be quick. It's mostly just Android for the most part. We had a few Google account permission issues we had to deal with for profile pictures, for saving profile pictures to your Google Drive account. And our final upgrade to Platform 2.0, that'll actually bring some good improvements once that's released in the next week or so, probably just the next few days actually, on user time creation in particular. So that's good. On Dashbend, we finished the initial data load with just kind of 3 merchants. It's not on here, but we're starting now working on kind of our regular scheduled loads, which will have all of the merchant locations and the merge of that data with the CTX data. The merchant info screen was completed, and the final story to actually purchase the gift card is in testing. So we're getting pretty close to wrapping up the Piggy Cards implementation, and I didn't bother putting it here. Sam will go through most of the other Dash Bay iOS stuff, but we did do 2 screen redesigns on iOS as well, for the settings page and some of the menu screens. So, yep, that's it on mobile from me.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so people that are following Discord very heavily, I said that success would be that the queries were done by Tuesday. I got most of them done. The 3 that I didn't get done, it's not that they really don't work. It's that I didn't actually take the time to do them because they're never going to be used in iOS. They're, queries that are probably more, they're not very mobile focused. Maybe eventually I will fix them. It probably would take me about an hour for each one, and I just didn't feel like it was a good use of time. But as you guys can see, I think we got 46 out of 49 queries or something close to that. And yep, that's they're working, and I'll show them later. But that's not it, folks. Let's go on. What is this? State transitions that were supposed to be done next week, 1 week later. Oh, wow. There are already all of these done? Wow. Yes. So I instead, I'm just going as quick as possible here, trying to get as much done as possible. And yeah, I got I didn't think that I'd be able to make even one state transition work for today, but last night I got one done, the identity transfer. I managed that yesterday, and since then, today I got all these other ones also working. So, and it's very quick. Once you have one, the like 90% of the difficulty has passed. So now I'm just going down the list, and each one is taking me, some time. But I actually didn't spend that much time on these state transitions today. Each one only was like about half an hour. Most of the time was actually on the next thing. So, mobile status, identity loading, that's done. Private key storage, so safe private key storage, I did that as well. Identity name storage and caching, identity key viewing, identity refresh, state transition signer. That was actually really hard. That was that's what took me a few days, the state transition signer, because what was actually going on is so all of this is actually written in Rust, then translated to C through a C FFI binding, then with a Swift wrapper on top of it. So when you're going from Rust to C, when you're dealing with Rust traits, things get a little tricky. So originally, AI told me to do it one way, right? And I went down that path. And then when I thought about it myself, right, actually using my brain again, I realized that that was actually probably the wrong way to do it. And I asked, I Googled a little bit like old school mode, and then even asked the AI, wait, can we not do it like this? And it was like, wow, that's such a great idea. Anyways, in the end, it worked. And basically, we're using something called a V table, which is a kind of like a structure that has pointers to various functions that can kind of replicate a trait type system. So that's all done. And now we have a state transition signer, and you can have multiple types of signers in iOS. So right now we have a single key signer, but we can also have, for example, you could put your private key in the secure enclave where you don't actually, you don't put the private key in there. You use a private key from the secure enclave to start signing. That's possible. There's a lot of like very secure things that we can do now with a system built like this. I also built out a data contract local storage and viewing, and let me show everything to you guys. So, and all of this in 1 week, by the way. So I feel like, not too shabby. Simulator. Oh, I don't want to start on that screen. Let me go back to the main screen. Okay. You guys see the simulator right now?
Yep, we can see.
So just for people wondering, why is there a tap coordinate test here? So I actually spent quite a lot of time trying to create a automatic system where the AI would QA its own features that it's writing. So it actually go in, screenshot, tap on various parts of the screen, and then like automatically work. And like automatically figure out if the feature it wrote worked. I haven't yet got it working, and I decided just to make some progress to manually do things a little bit for the time being until I spend some more time on this. But in the meantime, let me kind of show. So we kind of have SPV in here. You can create a wallet and sync, but that's not going to be the focus of today because it doesn't really work very well. And I'm waiting for for fixes from the SPV wallet, from the SPV library to do that. So basically, I'm focusing all on platform at the beginning. And once platform, all the features of platform are done, then I'm going to come in and I'm going to finish up core stuff and implement Dash Pay. And then we're going to get everything in this example app of a library, right? And then we're going to take that library and put it into our current wallet, and then everything should work. So identities. So this is testnet right now. So if we go to settings, we're on testnet. So we can load any identity. You know what? Right now, we're just to show it. I'm gonna load Shemnik's identity. Is it load or is it fetch? I forget that. Okay, let's just imagine that it's a load. What is Shemnik's identity? Shemnik. Okay, I think it's this one. Sorry, guys. I have to paste this in. There we go. So I think this is his. And let's do load identity, see if it works. Oh, there we go. See how fast that was? That was a query and it loaded and it did everything. So let's go back to identities. Weird. It doesn't have the name here. Oh, these are all the names that Shemnik has in the system. Okay, cool. So yeah, and he has 4 identity keys. Uh, we're finding everything about you, man. And if you go to an identity key, you can see the public key of all of this stuff. You can actually go into a specific key, and then you can input the private key and validate it in the store. Obviously, I don't have any of his private keys, so I'm just going to uh, show you my identity that I'm using for testing. This is like on testnet. This is not a real balance, just for people to be aware. This one only has one name right now, 5 keys. So if we go on to the keys, we can see that I did not input the master key yet, but I did input the private keys for the critical authentication key and a critical transfer key. So we see that there are 2 private keys. So if you go into one of these, I don't think it will show. If it does show, I'm going to change the key right away. But yeah, so it doesn't reveal the private key. You press reveal private key and then it will reveal it. I don't actually want to reveal my testnet private key. So yeah, we're not going to do that right now. But that's basically the key and identity management right here. And yeah, so that's what we have right here for now. In settings, we also have a local data contract, so you can load a token contract. So right now, this is the Flurgon token contract here, and you can even look at information about it. So what is it? It has one token called Flurgon, and this is some basic information, localization, Flurgon, supply information, can be minted, can be burned, can be frozen, like all the things that you can do with it. The history, like what it does, it keeps the transfer history, keeps the freezing history, all the information about this token. So it actually has a perpetual distribution that happens every hour and distributes 300 Flurgons to the Evo nodes every hour. So actually, just so we can see, let's actually delete the contract. So we're going to delete this contract. Ta-da! It's not here anymore. Oh no. Okay, let's load it. So we can also just load known contracts by pressing this right part right here. And we see some like more common contracts. So right now I'm just going to load the DPNS contract and press load. And so we have the DPNS contract right here, right? But I'm also going to reload the Flurgon contract. I need the ID of the Flurgon contract. 1 second. Pasting it in. There we go. And we're going to load that. And there we go. Flurgon token contract. And it just came in with all the information and deciphered the information. It was Oh, sorry. It was loaded on the 5th of August. Okay, I need to fix this. The contract's in version 1, etc. So now that we have this, we can now go in and I can kind of show you guys what we have in platform. So right now we have 48 quorum 48 quorums in memory. We have 2 modes. One mode is, well, we're going to have 3 modes in the end. One is going to be a trusted mode, where the quorums are basically got from a server. Then there's going to be the SPV mode, which is basically the mode that the wallets will use. And then we're also probably going to have like a semi-trusted, like SPV plus trusted, which will just accelerate the sync speed to the very beginning, but won't do anything really in trusted mode. It will just like get the quorums, get you identity information, and then will hold that identity information until the SPV sync, so you can save a few seconds at sync. A lot of stuff that will happen, but not yet. Okay, so let's go into queries. So as you guys can see, we have a lot of different queries. Identity queries. You could get identity, you put your identity ID here. You can get like, identity balance, put an identity ID here. I'm not gonna run through them because it's going to take a lot of time, but we also have a diagnostic here. So if you go to diagnostic, you can run all the queries, and we're going to run all the queries right now. So it's basically sending sequentially one query after another. You can see they're very quick, right? Our system is extremely fast. And we should have like 45, I think, working, something like that. Yeah. So 45 out of 48 passed. As I said earlier, all of these are passing. The ones that are not passing are get evo nodes, proposed epoch blocks by range. Probably easy to do. Just haven't done it. Get token, perpetual distribution, last claim. I just haven't fixed that. I'll fix that. And this one, get pre-funded specialized balance. That's for voting specialized balances. It's probably never going to be used in iOS, but I will get around to fixing those two last ones. Okay, so that's basically queries. And now we can go into state transitions. Like, let's do an identity state transition. So let's transfer credits. Let's transfer credits from this guy, the real Slim Shady 5, to recipient ID. Let's send it to Shenmix ID. Oh no, that's wrong. Sorry. That was, I didn't send the pasteboard. I mean, I didn't send the, okay, so paste. And here, that's Shenmix ID, and we're going to send him some credits. And then we'll just execute transition. So this might, so, ooh, what? Why? That's weird. Why is it not working? Let me think about this. So is this really his identity ID? Yes. Let's try again. Let's see if on the network we actually had one, if it actually went through. We're still, this is still in kind of progress. Like I had not yet seen it fail. Oh yeah, there was a credit transfer 1 minute ago, and there's a credit transfer 39 seconds ago. If you look on testnet actually, I don't like people trusting me. Let me share it. Where is it? In here. Yeah, so you guys can see there were these two credit transfers. So they went through. They just don't seem to there seems to be some issue with DAPI responding properly, which, is one of the reasons why we're rewriting DAPI into Rust, because that it was basically written in 2021, and it's one of the last things that we didn't move over, and we're having some issues with it. So, but the state transitions are working, as you can see. Let's show some other cool state transitions. I'm just going to guess that what's going to happen is they're all going to look like they're timing out, even though they are going to go through. They are going through, work in progress, right? This is a lot farther along than I thought I was going to get. Oh, it actually said success. Okay, so this one actually, the second time it did say success, not error. I'm not sure exactly why. Still need to figure out some of the more interesting issues. So yeah, we have a credit transfer there working. We have withdraw. So you put in your dash address, you select your identity that you want to withdraw from. I tried this one as well. This one does work. And then I focused on the token ones, so like mint tokens. Here, just because we have the information, you select your identity, you select the token that you want. So Flurgon, because it knows that you can only mint a Flurgon. Like like there's nothing else that this identity can do. We don't have any other contracts. But if we had other contracts, it would only show the tokens that you can mint on for this identity. So then you choose that one. Let's say we want to mint 100. We don't put an issue to identity ID. We just say it's sending to ourselves, and we press execute transaction. I have a feeling that this is also going to time out for the same reason. Let's see if on Platform Explorer it did work. Yeah, so we just got a token mint 13 seconds ago. So it's actually 13 seconds ago. That was like exact. So it probably only takes like 1 second to do these state transitions, but this timeout and DAPI causing some issues. So we're gonna work on that as well as fast as possible. But yeah, so we have like, you know, mint tokens, claim token. I don't claim tokens. Uh, uh, I've not even tried this one. I think I did. Yeah, so no, I did do this one. There's one of these that I haven't tried yet, but most of these are working already. So that's pretty much where I'm at. The goal for next week is still going to be to finish all the state transitions. The original goal was state transitions next week. The week afterwards was getting all this identity stuff, the local data contract stuff working, and getting it integrated a little bit better. And still not integrated in Dash Wallet, right? So that was going to be for the next 2 weeks. And then there was going to be another week after that getting SPV working properly. And then another week after that, basically ending August with integration into the mobile wallet, like getting everything here from the example app that I'm making, working like as a library, and you just put it in to the current Dash wallet, and everything works and syncs faster, and all the things are beautiful, and Dash Pay works, and we even have extra functionality because some of this functionality, like claim token and all that stuff, I will probably be adding in just because it's going to be so easy to do. So yeah, that's basically it. So we're a little bit in advance of the schedule.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when will Evo SDKs be considered ready and completed enough for me to pitch to third parties to build on Evo? Joel asks.
So that's a complicated question. That's a complicated question to answer. The Evo SDKs are in a state that can work right now. The problem is it's not easy to use them automatically. Like, you know, a lot of developers just want to do an npm pull, like just like get it from a repository, the library, and then they can automatically use it. The reason why we haven't pushed it is because we haven't yet had a release. And the idea was to release it in 2.1. But yeah, so in 2.1, that was going to be basically the plan. But right now we have Lucas, who's going to be off on summer holiday. I'm going to be on iOS. I've asked people. Some people have come forward. Darwin from the community, and he offered to help, and I've taken him up on that. So he's going to be helping a little bit on verifying that everything we have is working properly and is what would be wanted for the JS SDK. And also maybe Przemnik can help as well. The question is, like, how it's more of a, do we want iOS out quickly and me just running down and getting iOS out as quick as possible, or do we want SDKs and 2.1 out? Both are going to take about, well, I'm not the most ideal for the final touches on the SDK. It's more going to be like somebody who's a very good JavaScript developer. But as people can see, it works. We just need to say, okay, let's ship it. I haven't yet heard from people that it's in a state that's okay to ship. So little complicated response there. If we just continue down the current path, iOS, I'm hoping we'll get iOS out by the end of the month. Then I'm going to focus on 2.1 release. And with 2.1 release, the SDKs will be, completely easy to download and use. That's the current plan, but, could change.
All right. But is it planned to make the JS SDK into an NPM package?
Well, I mean, it currently is an NPM package.
Okay.
It currently is, but it's on the old system, right? That has core plus old platform. So the idea was I would rip out, platform, the old platform, put in the new platform, and use the old core. And like that, you could basically ask, when you load the JS SDK, you can ask, hey, I just want to use platform, or I want to use core plus platform. And then it will take the components that you want and basically do what you want. However, I'm not sure what people actually want. So I mean, the feedback that I got was the old core is really bad, but then there's some feedback from other people that they wanted it. It's in one of those states that I'm not 100% sure how to go about it. So I'm basically waiting for more feedback. And that feedback can only last until I'm done with iOS, and then I'm gonna finish it, no matter what.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the clarification. So when dash evo tool SPV?
Paul, you still here?
Yes. I saw that question, and you and I had a conversation yesterday, Sam. I think you know the scope of what needs to be done better than I do, really.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because I don't know how it's hard for me to say a date for other people,
Yeah, sure.
So it's a lot of work, I think, still. I wouldn't expect it until the end of August is my currently looking at things is what I believe.
All right,
But
thank you.
You never know. Paul could go faster or go slower than expected.
Yeah, like right now, like I said earlier, some state transitions and queries are working. Maybe we can do like a developer preview. People can try that out. But Sam kind of went over the whole scope with me yesterday, and showed me like the dip that he had written. I think it was dip 26 about SPV, and there's like a lot of stuff to do still around getting like syncing wallets with the blocks and associating asset locks and stuff, in order to do like identity crate and stuff like that. So to me, it's not totally clear how much there is to do there. Sam is saying it's a lot. So yeah, we'll see. That's
the reason
all.
why I say it's a lot is because when I originally did it on iOS back in 2019, it took me a year. But nowadays things go a lot faster. AI does help us write a lot of code, and it's already been done. So, I
All
think it'll
right.
go a
Speaking of
lot.
AI, the bonus question,
Mhm.
how much AI are you using for this? That was for your demo.
How
Sam.
much AI am I using for this? For the for what you saw today?
Yeah.
Uh, well, it's a complicated question. How much of the code has been written by AI? I'd say 98%. If I had just let the AI do what it wanted to do, would it have worked? Not at all. I'm basically, my life now is just watching the AI code and say, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't do it this way instead. And it is a very different way of programming, or a very different way of doing things that from what I was used to, but it is a lot faster. Um, and the reason why it's a lot faster is that it can just, it can spew out a lot of code a lot faster. It does get stuck. It gets stuck and it doesn't know how to do stuff. And at that point, you need to go in and you need to tell it, no, you have to do it exactly like this. There's this function here. And then sometimes it won't manage. And then when it doesn't manage, you give it, well, what I've been doing is I've been giving it pseudocode and saying, this is how you're supposed to do it. And then it finally manages, right? So, but in terms of writing the Swift code and the CFFI layer, it's all AI. That's
All
pretty
right.
much it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here for the questions and the comments. And we see you in 2 weeks.
I did want to say
Any
one
party?
last thing.
Yeah, sure.
One last thing. Like, I just don't want anybody to take away like thinking that I'm just launching an AI and leaving 10 hours. No, what's actually like it is 10 hours of watching the AI and constantly telling it to do things differently. Like more than like every minute. So
Yeah.
it's a very hand-in-hand process still. I do think that over time, like in a year or two from now, we're going to start to see AIs that start to learn from what they're supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do. But at this point, we're not there yet.
Do you use any special add-on or just vanilla Cloud Code and terminal? Or do you use, or do you,
Vanilla, but I use agents. So I have various different agents
Mhm.
that at this point. Um, yeah.
And right, do you have the IDE next to it?
Yeah, of course.
So
So
you
basically 90%,
parallel.
yeah. The context size is too big. So the AI doesn't actually know where to get stuff from. So it's
Mhm.
often going to try to rewrite a function that we have. So a lot of the time I'm like, oh no, don't rewrite it. Use this function here. Use this function here. Go like basically my main thing is just um orchestrating where it should find the different functions and where it should use them. But you need to know the entire code base for that. And it doesn't have the memory to know the entire code base. It's just too many different, too big to keep everything in memory.
All right. Thanks for being